I'm buzzy.
It's got all those bees.
Did you mute me? Do you
No,
not love me? Somebody muted me.
I didn't mute you.
I saw a mute on my screen.
No way, Jose. Maybe Dennis muted himself to see what was wrong with his machine. Maybe you hurt Dennis's feelings by claiming that his buzzy was buzzing.
Yo, don't call me Buzzy.
Buzzy? Ruth Buzzy?
But I meant it in the sexy way.
This is what DS9 season 4. What's the name of this crappy episode I hate?
The Visitor.
That's really what it's called?
Yes.
That's a weird name.
I will. Jackie Cisco and her monthly visitor.
Yes, it's about someone's period.
Yeah.
Tony Todd is adult Jake? Huh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Did you not watch this?
I did. I just didn't recognize the actor. That's all. I'm not a big... Yeah, like, I wouldn't have got that right off the top of my head because, like, sorry.
As soon as I heard the voice, I was like, oh, Tony Todd.
Yeah, I didn't get that because I'm not as smart as you guys, okay? Gosh. What a bunch of dicks you are.
Well, no, because he would go to his mirror in the middle of the night and go, Cisco, Cisco, Cisco.
And then Cisco would pop up.
Cisco appears, yeah.
Yeah,
Bloody
no.
Cisco.
This episode sucks and I hate it.
What?
It's too close, man. I have too many feelings,
Okay, yeah.
too many emotions.
I think everybody, man, this was not fair.
Yeah, this was not a fair episode. This episode is painful and sad.
I cried no less than 3 times.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it either. Like, it's too sad, man. Like, I cried a lot, and I don't want to admit that DS9 makes me cry.
Yeah, I've said, for a long time that this entire series changed after you have kids and you grow a little, and this episode was definitely one of those that it was like a two-way, getting hit by a car from both directions.
Yeah, this is like the Field of Dreams of Star Trek. Like, it's
I just watched it and I still have eyes.
Yeah, it's so touching.
I intentionally watched it yesterday because I knew I couldn't go right into the recording and still hold my shit together.
Yeah, it's an amazing episode. Like,
so it's a 9 till we're done.
Yeah,
like, it's so good. Like, it's just, man, fuck this episode. Like, I can't do.
How about Roma?
Yeah, how about Roma? That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then Real Madrid got gifted a penalty today too in the dying minutes of their match.
From everything I've seen, that was a fair penalty.
I mean, it was soft.
Yeah,
it was soft.
Said.
It's a Real Madrid penalty all the way. I mean, I was commenting to our bitter and angry Cincinnati, Manchester City supporters group that there's no way City gets that call. No way in the 92nd minute away from home in the quarterfinals. The referees can't even get offside calls right for us in this. I mean, how many goals did we have disallowed because of offsides?
Sane was off every single time he touched the ball.
So every time, apparently. He doesn't understand the rules of the game. He's been playing it probably since he's been 4 years old. All of a sudden, he forgot how to play the game. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah. This episode sucks.
Are we really not going to talk about it?
It's just the worst. I mean, it's so...
About it is... the Bill Cosby vibe I got off of old Jake Cisco.
Well, I got to take off my shirt. Let you touch on my penis.
So let me get you some tea with a Jello pudding pop and a Quaalude.
So he was like the J.D. Salinger of the 25th century.
Yeah, he was. I mean, this episode sucks. I hate it. Like, I was crying as a father to a son, and as a son who lost a father early.
Absolutely.
Like, this one got me on both ends, and I was like, you know what, man? Fuck this episode. Like, when, I just no, I couldn't deal with it. Like, it's too much.
I don't know how Jenny feels about it. I would like to have had the female impression of it because I know she watched it. I just don't know if.
Well, she's not joining us tonight. She's got taxes to do.
This is like I remember it clearly. Probably like 12 years ago, Sports Center, and he hit like 7 3-pointers at the end of a game.
You went out for like a big chunk there that I missed.
Okay, like 10 years ago, Sports Center ran this story about this kid who was autistic and he never got to play in the basketball game.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this episode was.
Yeah. This episode sucks. Like it just it just gets you, man. Like, I'm definitely not in the mood for something like this.
No.
I mean,
Happy Father's Day.
It's too much. It was too much.
And when this came out originally, when I was a kid, I wouldn't have liked it because I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this isn't an episode you appreciate as a kid.
No.
But now as a father, it's like, no way.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
DS9.
I mean, I got it from both ends, as a father and as a.
I know. I was thinking about that too. I was like, oh man, there's no way Bob is making it through this.
This is bullshit. Yeah. I wanted to turn it off. I was like, man, fuck this episode. But I was like, no, because I finished last week's episode. I finished that and I really liked it. It was really great. Way of the Warrior, it ended really strong. I was really happy. And part of the reason why I finished this episode was because I got a little grief on Twitter last week for not finishing Way of the Warrior.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to make myself watch this. And I watched every second of it, and I fucking hated it. And I probably cried like 3 times. And then at the end, when my wife came in, she's like, what are you watching? And I was like, DS9. She's like, is it good? I was like, yeah. Because then she saw like them embrace and stuff, and she's like, are you okay? And I was like, no. I'm not.
Yeah.
She's like, is it bad okay or good okay? I was like, it's good okay. This sucks.
Like if I'd gotten in the car last night and just turned on the radio and Cats in the Cradle started playing, I would have probably driven myself into like just full speed into a barricade or something.
I drove my car into a fucking lake to avoid this episode. Like, it's just so, man, it's just so well done too. That's the worst part about it.
Yeah.
I think you have to watch this one immediately after Way of the Warrior so your testosterone rage can carry you through.
Yeah, like, fuck that shit. We're going to blow some shit up. It's going to be so awesome. Like, they just get you. Because, I mean, like, I'm sure lots of people out there that are listening to this podcast has lost parents. I lost parents very young. Jake's dad, when he died in this episode, he was 18. When my dad passed away, I was 22. And, like, all the conversations that, like, when Cisco reappears and he's like, tell me you'll be okay, son. And I'm like, man, fuck you, dude. Because I imagine that's my dad laying there on that stupid table in a Star Trek uniform telling me, just tell me you'll be okay and live your life and do all the stuff you need to do to live. And I was like, fuck this episode.
Yeah. What is it with baseball? I mean, what the fuck? I mean, that Field of Dreams got me with this, and then it's, god damn it.
Field of Dreams is one of those things that, like, I can tell you exactly when I'm going to cry. Like, one time I watched it on cable, which was the fucking pits, because like what happens is, like, when Kevin Costner looks out into the fucking stupid cornfield and that guy comes out and he's like, Dad. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. And then, like, he walks up to him and he's like, hey, Dad, do you want to have catch? And I fucking lose it. Yep. I'm starting to break up now every time. And then what they do is on cable, they go to commercial right there. So you cry a little bit during the commercial break, and then you're able to pull it.
Hey, come to Burger King this weekend.
Yeah. And then you pull it together, and then you just jump right back into crying. So you're crying a lot over, a commercial.
When Burt Lancaster makes the choice, like, to stay young and be the ball player.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Moonlight Graham.
Yep. I lose it.
Yep. Moonlight Graham. Does he save the girl because that's what he's really great at, being a doctor? Or does he give up eternal youth to play baseball with these guys? Moonlight Graham. That movie sucks. I hate it. I can't deal with stuff like that. I just can't deal with it because
it's, oh my God. And then though, for Jake to be a fucking writer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I went with the name this week. There's that scene where he's sitting there at the table and he's writing on his pad, and all of a sudden his Bajoran wife comes, strolling in to check on him, and all I could it's the only light moment in the episode is I just wanted Jake to turn around and be like, anytime I'm in here and you hear me typing or you hear me fucking doing anything, you stay the fuck out.
That's the worst part. That's the worst part of the episode. It's like, that doesn't happen.
No.
Your wife never comes to you and's like, let's fuck. Like, that never happens, ever.
You're writing too much.
I'm not tired either.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I believed every part of this episode except that part.
Yeah, she's not tired, but she's got a headache.
Yeah, when the wife comes in and she's like, no, let's fuck. It's like, that never happens. Like, that's bullshit.
So is it racist that he married a Bajoran chick?
No, that's just what he's into, bro.
A black Bajoran chick.
Yeah. Now, do you think like he got any like sympathy spank off of Dax or Kira or anybody like that because his dad was all dead?
Oh my God! I lost it. When
he got laid from them?
No, when Dax after his dad died.
Yeah, that was too much, man. This whole episode just sucks. Like, it's too, like, Ben's breaking up. I was talking about Field of Dreams and I was breaking up. Like, this episode's too much. It's too much. It's too much emotion for me, man. Ben's crying right now.
Hey, Patreons, earn it.
Ben took his glasses off to wipe away tears.
God damn it.
This is a bunch of people that have a bunch of emotions that they've never dealt with fully, that they're trying to come to grips with while watching Star Trek. Like, what the fuck is wrong with our lives?
Yeah, I mean, this episode and then the sailboat episode, the warp sail.
Yeah, the sailboat episode was good too, but this
was landing on really thick.
Yeah, the sailboat episode set you up.
Yeah.
And then this one just fucking spiked you into the concrete.
Yeah, this episode for me was just like, man, I'm a father and I have a dead dad. Like, this is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Fuck this episode.
Yeah.
Jake, just tell me you're okay. Tell me you're going to be okay. Like, man, just fucking tell him you're. And then he throws his whole life away to try to like get his dad back, and that's the last thing in the whole wide world his dad wants, is because Cisco wants Jake to live his life for him. And it's like, God damn it, like, it's just.
Yeah. Although honestly, at that point, when Cisco's like, hey, you know what? Give it a shot. Try and bring me back.
You know?
He's already wasted his life.
Don't waste your life, son.
I mean, I think Avery Brooks was bringing his A game on this.
Yeah, he was good, dude.
Tony Todd was killing me.
Tony Todd, oh my God.
Everybody was great. This whole episode, like, when Kiro is like, you have to get off this station and live your life, I'm like, this is all bullshit. I mean, this whole episode is like, I mean, it's so, I don't know, maybe if you're like a cynical bastard and like you've got a fucking black heart and you hate life, like this episode.
But that's me.
Yeah.
I live and die by my cynicism. I hate every day that I have to interact with other people. I think everything is beneath me. And this fucking just like, oh yeah, well, hey, you're high horse. Let me knock you off of it, bitch.
Yeah, but I mean, if you didn't have kids, then maybe you could be that way, but I don't know.
Yeah. You know, it's just
fucking kids ruined Star Trek for me.
This episode ruined my life.
Like, there should be a fucking trigger warning. I mean, this is
honestly, like, I was in, you know, it's just too sad for words.
And I really...
Who thought this was a good idea? That's what I want to know.
I mean, everybody, it's a great episode. I mean,
I want people to watch it, but I just want people to be prepared. And
how can you be prepared? You can't be prepared for this.
No. Yeah. Like, because I even saw it on Twitter, like people going, "Oh, it's the Cats in the Cradle episode." I'm like, man, it's not going to be all that. And I was like, "Nah, son." They just fucking stabbed me in my heart.
Before the break, they already got you.
They got me. I mean, I was, you know, even the bullshit premise of like, oh, the warp core is gonna, oh, I got it all fixed. Don't worry about it. Oh no, I got struck by lightning. I'm dead. Oh man, that's corny as fuck. Why does he have to keep coming back?
Yeah.
Why does he keep having to say like good stuff for him? Like, oh, live your life, son.
How about those grandkids?
I want grandkids from the grave.
No, I mean, it's just like just the opening, the cold open when the girl shows up at the front door and he says something about, when he's explaining about the worst day of his life.
Yeah.
And then I'm in for this episode. I got to
kill him. Like he shows you killing himself. Like he just fucking injected with the slowest acting poison in the whole wide world.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I'll even tell you this. This episode even made me feel there are points in my existence, right? My dad's been gone now for 18 years. He's been gone for 18 years. And there are points in my existence where it's like, I think they even touched on in the episode, like where Jake is on Earth and he's a writer and he's got his wife and he just won the award and Nog came to visit him. And then all of a sudden fucking Ghost Cisco shows up and Jake feels bad for living his life and not being obsessed with the passing of his father, with his dad being gone. I feel that way sometimes. Like there are times in my life where it's like, I've got my kids, I've got my family, I've got all this stuff. And like, I'll stop and go, I should miss him more than I do. And even that they hit on and you're like, God damn, like they just
survivor's guilt.
Yeah. It's like, they just won't let me live. Like this episode, they were just getting me from every direction. It's you think you're okay now? Take that one to the solar plexus. Oh,
I was already in a fucking weakened state because I've been cleaning up Facebook lately. And so there was like a shit ton of...
That's your job? Like Mark Zuckerberg hired you to do that after the congressional meetings?
I can't really talk about details. But
so I'm going to clean up Facebook.
I'm on my way, Mark.
Please call me Mr. Zuckerberg.
Or as the senator called him, Mr. Zuckerman.
Yeah. Or did you see all the images of him being Data?
Data. Everybody had one.
That's the best.
I received 3 of them by 9 o'clock this morning.
Pretty great.
But
that's the internet. That's the internet at its finest. Go ahead, Ben.
Well, no, I was so Tuesday. I'm cleaning up my face. Well, the whole weekend and into Tuesday, I'm cleaning up my Facebook, and I kept coming across pictures from years ago when my sons were small. And so I'm already like, that borderline emotional state going into this fucking episode. And I knew what the episode was because it, as a wannabe writer, it's one of those episodes. Anytime it highlights Jake as a writer, I remember always being interested in those episodes. And I remember this. I mean, I remember this episode pretty vividly. I've probably saw it twice before, this week, and first run and then time after that, and now this time. But so I'm already like on the edge of like an emotional outpouring. I just needed like a bottle of scotch in a quiet room, but instead I chose to watch this episode.
Yeah,
this was tough for me, and my kids still are happy to see me. I can't imagine once my kids are sick of my shit.
Yeah.
I will never watch this again.
No, it's the only reason I watched this was for our show.
I'll show this episode to my kids and be like, look how important I am to your life. You better love me or after I'm dead, my ghost is going to come back and tell you to live your life. Live your life, Jake. Where's that wife? Where's that wife of yours? Where are my grandkids?
Yeah, I gave all that up to try to get you back.
No, Jake, I didn't want that. No, I wanted you to live your life. And I mean, Ghost Dad Cisco is right. Like, you have to move on with your existence. Like, you have to do that. Yeah. But again, like, that guilt that Jake felt, there are times in my life where I felt that, and that shit sucks. I mean, granted, I didn't, drop off the map and go to Starfleet and become some super scientist to try to find out some way to cure cancer and get my dad back, because that's not possible.
Right.
But I mean, there are times where it's like, yeah, man, like you feel that way. You feel bad sometimes for enjoying your life too much. It's hard.
So for Cisco, like, no time passed in between those jumps.
No.
Just a few minutes. Just, I mean, because you see how much, you know, it was just moments maybe.
And the explanation I thought of it was cool. Like, you know, how he's tied to it, if you will, you know?
Yeah, well, the way that they were both holding onto that wrench. And so that's where the connection, as Cisco got pulled into subspace, that was the conduit that attached them.
And symbolically, Jay couldn't let go. That's why he kept coming back.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Living a life of regret. I mean, and this was, I guess, is this an episode about learning to let go?
Yep.
Because that's, you know, Jake ultimately had to let go of that bond, of that connection, so that, you know, Cisco could snap back.
Yep.
But I mean, people can tell you to learn to let go or whatever, but nobody ever does.
No.
It's impossible.
It is impossible, but I mean, I've always said this too. This is something that if we've ever had a serious conversation about death and dying, it's funny because I'm typing something in and I just wrote for death. If we've ever had a serious conversation about it, I've always said that it's easier for the person dying, because like they're gone. Like it's everyone else that has to live.
Well, that's
with the grief of your passing. So
that's why all the mourning rituals are for the living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you know, why we have, I mean, like in Judaism, we have the mourner's Kaddish, and that's for you, for the family to as a way to move on.
Because I mean, like dying's easy. You're just dead. I mean, no matter how you go. I mean, get hit by a bus, you're dead. You get shot in the head, you're dead. You have some disease, which probably sucks, but you know what? At the end of the day, you're dead. Your family has to kind of like figure everything out and wonder what happened and go on living the rest of their lives every day until they drop dead. And it's like that shit's the worst.
And then you come back every 15 years, forget about me.
Well, stop coming back.
Well, I mean, he can't help it.
On this day 7 years ago from fucking FaceTime.
It would have been great if after like the second or third time Cisco tries to run out the room every time he comes back. Oh, shit. I'm not here.
Why do you always got to come back when shit's going great?
Yeah.
Well, see, my thing was like, you know, I said,
Nog's here, son.
He's like the greatest cock blocker ever. I mean, boy's about to hook up, and it's just like, hey, son, I'm back.
Are you about to have sex?
Can I watch?
It's so lonely in Oblivion.
I've just been kind of hanging out here, not doing.
Who's this young lady?
Let me see her titty.
Are you going to Cosby her?
Son, did I ever tell you about the Eiffel Tower?
Show you his vagina.
His vagina? What?
It's been a long time.
It's only been a few minutes from your point of view, Dad. What the hell?
But yeah, this episode sucks.
Gender is fluid in the afterlife.
It won a Hugo, like it was nominated for a Hugo Award in '96.
Yeah.
It should be.
Babylon 5 episode, which I don't even, who cares about that show in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah. I can still remember being pissed off that DS9 was a ripoff of Babylon 5.
I mean, to who? I mean, who remembers Babylon 5?
Exactly. But I mean, but at the time, because J. Michael Straczynski had pitched the idea to Paramount.
Yeah.
And suddenly they realized, oh no, we already have this space station.
Hey, you know what? That's the way it goes. And you know what? Fuck J. Michael Straczynski, because he was the one that got rid of Peter Parker and Mary Jane being married. So fucking stupid Aunt May could hang her out and be around, because like we need her anymore.
Well, it's Marissa Tomei now, so absolutely we need her around.
You know,
need her around as much as possible.
We don't need Aunt May.
If she's young, hot Aunt May, we do.
Yeah, but I mean, at the time in the comics, we didn't need Aunt May. Like, Peter was living his life doing his thing. Aunt May, who cares about some Aunt May? Get out my face.
That's why you got never
in the comics too.
You never reveal your fucking secret identity.
Get out my face, Aunt May. Don't even know you got no more. Better get that bad. Look up your face. Knock it off.
Aunt May, I'm trying to move on with my life.
Yeah, and you know,
I mean, I know you're still alive and you're not really sick or anything.
Well, she got to. Well, and what happened was, like, after in Marvel Civil War, after Peter revealed his identity, May got shot by, I think, one of Kingpin's dudes or something like that. And so Peter goes after Kingpin and fucks some shit up. And then Mephisto comes and he's like, hey, man, I can make all this shit go away, but you got to give me what I've never had, and that's everlasting.
You got to suck my dick.
You got to give.
Really? No one's ever done that?
It's basically May or Mary Jane. The life you have with her, give it up forever, and I'll give you May back. And he chooses his old stupid aunt over hot Mary Jane. Because that's May. It's stupid.
That's kind of similar to Flash.
It's stupid.
I mean, I'm not wrong. It's dumb.
Well, with Wally West, because his identity was out there or whatever.
Yeah.
They had the twins.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The whole thing about having to lose the twins and Linda was Wally. And start over.
Yeah, that shit was whack, son. Like, no, you can't do that. Like, no,
why is that a go-to trope for these fucking stories?
Well, I don't want to see Peter with Aunt May. I want to see Peter like, you want to make Spider-Man interesting, give him a kid.
Yeah.
I've always said, I know it's
working with Superman.
That Superman book is fucking great. I've been reading the dog shit out of that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, give him a kid. You want to make it interesting.
I use my public library now, so.
Yeah, totally, dude. That's where you got to get it, son. You got to get it in the library. All that shit's free, baby.
Virginia Beach, we actually have.
Just read them up.
No, you can rent the not rent, but check out books, e-copies, e-books. Yeah. That's fucking phenomenal.
Yes, that's what happened. In one more day, the 4-part crossover, blah blah blah. The decision to abruptly end Peter Parker and Mary Jane's marriage was heavily criticized. They gonna pay some heavy due for that shit. It was dumb.
He told Mephisto, he's like, hey man, can I still remember hitting that?
Nah, like she remembers through, like he says to her, like, I want your marriage or whatever. So they got to stop being married. But the fun of Peter Parker, the fun of Spider-Man was like reading Spider-Man as a kid, and he's a dumb kid. And then as your life gets old, your life paralleled Peter Parker. And then he had a job and a wife. Yeah. And you had a job and a wife, and like you're trying to figure out stuff.
So I mean, now you're a billionaire, right? And you have this multinational corporation, just like Peter Parker, right?
That's why I don't be reading that shit no more.
So I got to think though, maybe one of the writers was having like a bad marriage or something.
Yes.
And then Dr. Octopus takes over your body, and you start banging a little person.
That was really. I don't know if you read. Did you read that on Marvel Unlimited?
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I loved Superior Spider-Man, and then like they just switched it back because it's a dumb. Get my bags, you know what I mean?
Know. Doc Ock is back though. It's all right.
I haven't got that far yet because now I've just decided since Slott is leaving, Dan Slott has been the writer of Spider-Man with various different artists for maybe like 5 years, 6 years, something like that. So I just started reading a whole bunch of it. So I'm just going and just reading. It gets confusing when they start relaunching everything and then like renumbering and then relaunching and renumbering, but I'm trying. So far it's been so good. I just finished Spider Island. I thought that was pretty cool.
I haven't read that.
It was good.
I've been sticking to like the major events right now. I just started reading Sacred Empire.
Oh, okay. Secret Empire was...
That's Kappa's Hydra.
Oh, yeah, I tried and I was like, no.
Chris Claremont did not like that.
I didn't care for it much either. Like I read, I'm not. No, this isn't good.
What's bad is the very second episode or second issue that you're supposed to read is the Thunderbolts, and the art is just it took me out of it. It was not good. Yeah,
I love Jim Zub as a writer, but the art on that is very like Rob Liefeld-esque. And like, yeah, it was not good. But anyways, this Star Trek episode is just bullshit.
Yeah, everybody, you have to watch it at least once.
It's great.
If you can bear to watch it more than once, bully to you. But.
It's great. It's a great episode, dude.
Okay, so here's the thing, though, because Jenny said it reminded, her a lot of Inner Light, right? the whole life that was lived.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I just,
But see,
with her making that
the
observation,
inner light, we knew it was fake the whole time.
yeah. But this actually happened to Jake.
Yeah, this is what really happened.
This is a time travel episode. I feel bad for the young lady who was wanting to be a writer. He's like, oh yeah, here's all my, my manuscript with all my notes and stuff. And, maybe you can learn something from it. But you're never going to be a writer, because when I go back through time and save my father, I will not have inspired you the way that I did.
Yeah, but you know what, though? That lady had some big ass titties, so she's going to be all right.
She ends up as a Dabo girl.
I mean, she had some huge tits, and like she would look like she was DTF. So I mean, she's going to be fine. Like I
think it was interesting to see how the war played out without Cisco.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Versus, how I know the war plays out with Cisco.
Yeah, like the Klingons took over DS9 and like they took over Bajor. I also enjoy the fact that they were deathly afraid of the wormhole because they're dumb Klingons and like they're like, I can't kill it. I don't like this thing. Like this thing is dumb. And
I would have loved if they had like a gigantic bat left and they try to stab the wormhole with it.
Well, that's what they didn't show, was where they took Deep Space Nine and tried to like use the pointy arcs.
Nog ended up being a captain.
Well, he's a commander. He didn't make captain.
No, he did make captain. At the end. Yeah, because
that's right. Yeah,
that's how they were. Yeah.
That's right.
Because like Jake eventually figures out, because what happens is like Jake runs the course of his existence. He becomes this great writer, but then he decides to give it all up to become a scientist to try to figure out ways to save his dad, who he decides is stuck in some fucking like
subspace
bullshit or whatever. I don't know. And
subspace Phantom Zone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he eventually he gets the Defiant and all the crew back, and they go on out there for this warp core anomaly, because that's how this whole thing starts. Like Cisco makes Jake come along on some trip so they can see like a wormhole anomaly, and while they're out there, he gets blasted. Like Cisco gets blasted by some warp core energy and sent to the fucking Phantom Zone or some shit, and then Jake's just spending the rest of his life he's just missing his dad. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because he basically died right in front of him. Or he didn't die, he just disappeared.
Yeah. And they were close going.
If he had never come back, then I think Jake would have been all right.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't like anybody else who's lost a parent. I mean, it sucks and it's always with you, but you live your life.
Yeah.
I mean, Jake. Star Trek and comic books, dead maybe not so much.
Fuck your wife, get her pregnant.
Let me help you. What?
Do I got to show you how it works?
No, let me show you.
Because the beginning of the episode, like Jake is focused on writing, which I don't understand how they write on this iPad with a pen. And
it's the Apple Pencil. Aren't you keeping up with the new?
It was really weird. Like it didn't make any sense because like he wasn't actually writing with it. He was just touching buttons underneath. I just didn't get it. It looked like it was just all suggestive texts.
Yeah,
possibly. So Siri basically wrote his novels.
Yeah. All the predictive text.
Yeah. He just picked the one of three words that the computer machine opted for him, and he was like, "This is fucking great."
You type in "once upon a time" and then select the middle button every time.
I love though when he showed the young lady the copies of his books, and they tried to make them look like books, but they also had to be future books.
Yeah,
so that they were
the movie screens on them.
The little screen with the cheesy ass digital displays.
Yeah.
And wait, what was one of the books he? Fountainhead? I mean, what the hell? It's like, what do you write? Oh, Anthem, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really great. I mean, but this episode is just so magical.
Yeah. I really hope Jenny can go online after we put this episode up and tell her opinion.
I've never been sadder watching Star Trek.
I'm not even sure if it's good. Like, it's just, the action is really strong.
No, it's really good. Like the message is there, like, because the reason why Jake doesn't want to go on this trip to see the wormhole because he's too busy writing. Like he wants to write this story, and he's having problems.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
And Cisco says, like, hey man, every now and then you got to look up. Like you have to live your life, you know? And that's basically the entire lesson in this episode is like, yeah, dude, like you can't focus on the future or the past. You have to live your life because everything you need is there.
But you know that girl, she's going to do exactly what Jake did. She's not going to look up until she's an old woman. Then she's going to tell somebody else, hey, you need to look up every once in a while.
Hey, to be honest with you, that girl doesn't even exist yet.
Yeah.
Like her dad hasn't nutted in her mom yet that takes the steps to her big ass titties being birthed. So like she's nothing.
She's actually O'Brien's daughter from his second marriage.
Yeah, like she's not even that though, because I mean that would have to take a long time.
Yeah,
it'd be like O'Brien's great granddaughter from the second marriage or something.
You know,
he's a sugar daddy when he got older.
Because Jake has got to be like 85, 90 in this episode or something.
Yeah.
You know, and then
I knew that O'Brien was dead because he didn't come back for the reunion when they went back to DS9.
Yeah, well, to be fair, O'Brien looks like shit now. So like, imagine what he would look like in. You know, I guess Keiko finally did it.
Either that or liver cirrhosis.
He killed himself. Well, I mean, either way, it's Keiko's fault.
Yeah.
He drank himself to death because of Keiko.
Miles, stop drinking yourself to death, Miles. Miles.
You make me do it, woman.
Miles, you spilled all these pills all over the floor, Miles. Oh, my God, he's dead, Miles.
Now I need a vacuum.
Miles, you never fixed the vacuum, Miles. Miles. Yeah, fuck that dude. Fuck this episode, man. It's just too sad. Like, it's just too sad for words.
Yeah.
Too many feelings, bro.
Lots of feelings.
I wish I watched it yesterday.
Yeah, I mean that's the only way I've made, and I'm still right on the fucking edge. I can't make commentary on this fucking episode because I'm going to break down.
I know.
Like there's so many scenes that in my head I'm just like, oh, I should probably talk about this. Nope, can't do it. Know where it's going to go. And like I was wondering, I forgot, and at the very end when Cisco shoves Jake, and I'm like, does he remember? You know, is this like Inner Light? Does Cisco remember?
I think he does. I think he does. Yeah.
And the way though that there's initially you wonder, but then the way that he's hugging on Jake, he absolutely does. But then Jake has no idea because that life doesn't happen now.
Yeah. Like
what a mindfuck for Cisco though. Like thinking about it, like if you knew that your son's life would be ruined because you died.
Yeah.
Like how is Cisco going to live his life for the rest of it?
To be fair, if Cisco knows his son's life will be dramatically altered, not necessarily ruined. I mean, he still publishes 2 books. Mm-hmm. He becomes this great scientist, but his goal in life is to retrieve his dad. It's not saying that
he's never fulfilled until he kills himself at the end.
But to be fair, he knows that if he dies tragically in this fashion at this time, it will ruin Jake's kind of future. But I mean,
that's why he's so happy is because that he's back now, and that life doesn't get wasted.
Yes, that life doesn't get wasted, and
Jake still has the potential for all these great things. And now he has his whole life in front of him, and his father's going to be there with him.
And even Jake says that after he takes the world's slowest acting fucking suicide medicine, where he's like, "I need you." Like the boy needs you. I was a boy who needed his dad, and then I was like, "Fuck you," because I was you're a dick. And then he dies, and then they get to relive it all and try again. You know. So it's not a complete mind. It's just if the events would have occurred the way they did.
I think it would mess with me.
Well, see though, from Cisco's point of view though, he just shows up at key points. Now, I mean, it's fucking with Cisco's head, I'm sure, with the fact that he basically just watched his son die
Yeah.
in front of him, just like Jake had to live with the pain. I mean, that's why this Ouroboros of fuck you, because Jake lived his life having to see his father die that time, and then lose him the second time, and then every time after that, and then Cisco shows up at the end to watch his son die of the poison at an old age. So it's just like, what the fuck?
When does it stop?
It's like, oh my God.
When does the fucking trail of tears and sadness end? Please get me off of this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's really well done. And it's really good.
love seeing old Jadzia.
Yeah, like old Jadzia. Like Julian got to portray old Julian again, so I'm sure he was happy about that. Like he got to put on the old guy makeup and talk in his funny old guy voice.
I'm surprised show up.
You're surprised what?
I'm surprised Brent Spiner didn't show up.
Yeah, there. I think old man, old man Brazier takes acting lessons from Brent Spiner. I think that's obvious.
Well, see, I did like that they were consistent with their uniforms.
Yeah,
because in the last episode of TNG, when Picard was flashing to the future, they were wearing these style uniforms.
Oh, really?
They had
with the same communicator and everything.
Mm-hmm. When Beverly was captain of the Pasteur, took them to the station.
Sextown. Yep.
That's Beverly.
Yep, old ass Beverly Crusher with her fucking taking everybody to Sextown.
She was still hot.
Yeah, she totally was.
So, yeah.
I mean, it was a really great episode. Like it was wonderful. Like there was nothing wrong with that. Everything about that.
I mean, is this a guy thing though?
I mean, maybe. I mean,
do chicks get this broke up over an episode like this, or over this episode?
I don't know.
Because Jenny didn't seem to express the same level of emotion when we talked about it. So
I don't know.
I think that's because Field of Dreams is definitely a guy thing.
Oh yeah, of course it is. I mean,
so I think that's what I think. It's one of those things that maybe it's different for women.
I think like historic, like fathers are out of the house. They work, they go on business trips or whatever. They miss spending time with the kids, where women mostly stayed at home.
Right.
Changing. So maybe in like 25 years, this will be applicable, more uniformly applicable to everybody.
And I think part of it too is, I bet if a woman who was a Star Trek fan who lost a parent watched this episode, they would kind of feel that way. Mm-hmm. Like they would get the same, it would hit the same beats, I think. Because I mean, a lot of that is Jake dealing with the loss of his father. So yeah, I think it would work. I think so. Right. Like, I think Cats in the Cradle it probably affects the ladies as much as it does the fellas.
I've never interacted with a female that there's definitely bonds with their mothers and there's definitely bonds with their fathers, and guys have strong bonds with their mothers too. But there's something about that father-son dynamic that certain episodes and certain movies are going to just be able to just pinpoint and nail.
All right. Well, let me throw this theory out there. Perhaps women are more capable of dealing with their feelings just in life, whereas men are so fucking stupid and emotionally infantile that we have to deal with emotions in spaceships and with fucking ghosts and baseball. You know what I mean? Maybe they're more capable of dealing with real feelings in real life, where like I can't delve deep enough into my own being without having to watch Kevin Costner play baseball with the ghost. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, we're just programmed from an early age that you bottle that shit up, and then something like this is just overwhelms because
it's like permission to release almost.
Yeah,
I
mean, there's an episode of Doctor Who that I intentionally watch, the Van Gogh episode, that if I need to just express emotion, like if I'm going through some bullshit and I can't get that release, I'll fucking watch that episode.
Yeah.
And
or anyone Wilfred.
Oh God. Oh,
He kills me.
What's
the
that
last one. The last one with Wilfred is Donna Noble's
Is that another
When he
Doctor
when he
program?
the lottery ticket.
ugh.
Fuck.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, there's a character in Doctor Who.
Okay, so it's a
And-
Doctor Who thing. Okay.
Right, and there's the girl and her grandfather, and the girl was one of the Doctor's companions.
Okay.
And then, like, they were, she was a great companion.
She was
saved
awesome.
the world a couple of times. Like, she's super awesome. Like, a lot of people hated her at the beginning, but by the end, she's great. But then she does a thing that saves basically the universe.
She swallows cum.
And
Yeah.
well, but then as part of her saving the universe, the only way to save her before it just like basically burns out her brain and she dies,
She
is
swallowed too much.
the doctor has to make her forget all of it. And so she's the companion that gets left behind. She's the companion that has all of her memories of ever traveling with the doctor, all of her personal growth that she got from all these adventures taken away. And she's back to the way she was at the beginning of the series. And she can never meet or know of the doctor again because it would.
But Wilfred remembers it all.
But her grandfather remembers it all. So the doctor, this doctor at least, when he's about to regenerate, he's the last episode, he's basically going back around to all of the companions that he knew. And he goes to her, and it's on her wedding day. She finally met a man that she loved, and she's getting married. And Wilfred, her grandfather, and her mother are there. And the doctor comes up and has a gift for her. And basically, the doctor had gone back in time and borrowed £5 off of Donna's dead father, right, who had passed away before he got to the marriage. So he went back in time, borrowed £5, whatever, off the guy, used that to buy a lottery ticket that he knew was going to win, and then brought it back as her wedding gift.
Huh.
And to watch it, though, the whole thing, it's a lot better than what.
But the whole because he's the one who knocks 3 times and everything.
Well, it's
like,
Wilfred that basically killed him.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know.
It's very.
Yo, that shit sounds corny, son.
Yeah, well, so is this episode. So
it is, but it works.
So those three, between the Donna episode, that last episode, this episode, and the Van Gogh episode. I mean, and it's weird for me that I have to have these things in order to express emotion.
Uh-huh.
So I'm pretty sure I'm a sociopath. I'm not really
No,
sure.
you're not. I mean, it's just there's feelings that people keep inside of them for various reasons, and then like I've always equated it to like pieces of cheese, right? Like individually wrapped pieces of cheese. I have ready, prepared kind of moments in my life with my dad that if my daughter asks me about or my son asks me about, or I can break out and not feel sad about. Like they're just pre-made, they're prepared.
Right.
I can tell my kids that my dad used to eat free hot dogs all the time. He used to love to go to eat hot dogs. Like he would take us as kids to any hardware store in Virginia Beach that was giving away free hot dogs so he could have free hot dogs. It's a silly story. It's something that's fully prepared, and I can tell on a level without getting too deep or too kind of sentimental or sad about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense? Yeah. Whereas when I start talking about things I don't want to talk about or that I'm not prepared to deal with, it's hard.
Yeah.
Because I haven't kind of compartmentalized those memories yet.
Say, sit the kids down in front of Netflix, let them watch this episode, go, just watch this.
And just cry your eyes out.
Yeah.
But I
think I agree with Dennis, though. Let's just give this a 9 and talk about something else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like this
now that we've talked about this for an hour.
I mean, but it's a great episode. I mean, it's really because
it is
something like this could be really schlocky and shitty.
Yeah.
But this isn't. Like you could make an episode like this. You could do like a total we're gonna go tearjerker on you, and it just blows up in your face and doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm sure there's examples in fucking in other DS9 or in other maybe TNG where like they're going for like, yeah, we're going to go for some sentimental shit and it doesn't kind of go.
Well, think about, was it Brothers or Family? Well, I forget the episode.
With
but
Picard?
It was the second episode of fourth season of
mud
TNG.
wrestles his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he goes back to France after he becomes a Borg to try to reconnect with his life or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of corny.
I didn't think it was too corny. I got a little bit of emotional off of that. Not really on the level that this episode does.
Well, I think some of that is too because like it's the 24th century, and for some reason, fucking Picard's family lives like it's the 1800s. You know what I mean? And like, you know, they're mud wrestling, and it's real.
They didn't have fancy Apple pencils like Jason.
Yeah. You know, but I mean, you can try for something like this, pull at heartstrings and miss, and it gets kind of schlocky, but this is really kind of well done.
I'm sure Voyager has a really bad episode.
Oh, dude, I can tell you they do.
I'm going to have to go look at whatever the fourth season, second episode of Voyager is, just to see, you know, how it could, because, you know.
Is that the line of demarcation that they do this at?
I don't know, because, you know, the episode with Picard mud wrestling his brother was fourth season, second episode. This is Deep Space Nine, fourth season.
You know what? Let's just, for the hell of it.
Yes. Well, and Enterprise too. What's Enterprise got?
Enterprise didn't get to 4 seasons. I don't think did it.
Yeah, they did.
That was its last season.
Well, then that's going to be all about the war, right?
I don't know. It's shit that's coming. What's Voyager?
Voyager is the gift. Kes bestows an amazing gift on the crew before transforming into a higher life form. The Doctor removes 7 of 9 Borg technology. So this is like, I guess this is going to be kind of schlocky. I bet it doesn't succeed as well.
Yeah. And then Enterprise?
Enterprise in the Army, forever do. Enterprise is Stormfront Part 2. Archer and crew must destroy a time machine to stop aliens from obliterating countless eras. Alien leader Vosk releases prisoners, forcing Sulabine agents Silici to emerge from the shadows. I'll tell you this.
Is that a Nazi episode?
Yeah, that's the Enterprise goes back to World War II.
No, of course.
I'll tell you this about Enterprise. Like, you got to give them some credit that they did like season-long arcs. Mm-hmm. But if you don't give a fuck about,
you got a season long.
You got a whole season. I just don't give a fuck.
Well, no, the Temporal Code War was 3 fucking seasons.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, that was always running in the background.
Like, yeah, and like I was watching not Voyager, but I was watching Enterprise towards the end, and like, because it was on and I was just watching all the time, because I'll just go upstairs and watch Star Trek for hours on end, which is why I like it so much. Oh, and I have a funny story to tell you before we go. There's just like this weird council of aliens that just talk to each other, and that weird council of aliens just talks to each other for like 75 episodes. Like, I don't know what they're talking about, but at the end of it, I was like, I just don't care. Like,
yeah,
you know, like, why are you guys still talking? Like, go figure something out. And they don't like Archer for some reason.
Yeah,
not a fan. But anyway, so this happened. Saturday is the daddy-daughter dance, which is a good time to bring this up during this episode. At my daughter's school. So the theme this year is like a galactic party. It's a space theme. So we're hanging out yesterday, and Sophie's like, "Hey, Dad, are you excited about the daddy-daughter dance?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's going to be really fun." She's like, "Well, I got an idea." I said, "All right, well, tell me." She said, "Well, since it's the galactic party, what do you say if we dress up in our Star Trek uniforms?" And I say, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yeah, I want to go in our Star Trek uniforms to the fucking daddy-daughter dance for the theme." And I'm like, "All right." So she's gonna wear my red original series shirt that we're going to like kind of tie back and belt, and I'm going to wear my Star Trek uniform because it was her idea.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Now I will have to do the glasses push, and it's not actually a Star Trek uniform. It is a Starfleet uniform.
Oh, whatever, dude. She's 7. It's just I thought it was fun.
They got to learn sometime.
Ben says it's a Starfleet uniform, and you've ruined it. I asked her, I was like, dude, are you sure you want to do that? And she's like, yeah, I think it would be really fun. Let's do it. And I said, all right. So
God, the times have changed.
Yep. So we're wearing our Starfleet uniforms to the daddy-daughter dance.
Nice.
We'll take the picture and I'll post it up on.
Yeah.
She's pretty stoked. But that's because kids are great, and that's what this episode's about. And when I meet my unfortunate end, I'll have to come back every now and then, every 15 years or something, as like some kind of weird space anomaly, and just be like, Sophie, Bobby, live your life.
Wait, I didn't have enough time to ruin your psychology. Let me come back.
I'm gonna come back every now and then just to fuck with you.
Yeah, just when you think everything's going good.
Oh, did you think you moved on? You didn't. I'm here.
Guess what, motherfucker?
I still look the same.
I'm going to ruin your life.
Oh my God, how many ghost stories are actually based on subspace inversions?
Where are...
You sons of bitches. But yeah, this episode's fucking great. Like, it really is.
I know we pretty much gave Way of the Warrior 9.
Yeah, I'm giving that a 9 too, because I went back and as soon as we got done recording, I went upstairs and watched it. And it was really good. It was great.
Well, I'm giving this a 9 also.
Yeah, me too.
The emotional impact, and fuck anybody who disagrees with me.
Yeah,
that's
no,
it.
I gotta tell you, Ben, I couldn't agree with you more. This episode is a 9, and it's great, and it makes me sad. And I was sad that as soon as it started, I was like, I don't want to fucking watch this, but I watched every minute of it, and I'm glad I did, and it was real good.
I'm eating a box of Little Debbie after we stop recording, just to deal with the emotions that I'm feeling right now.
I'm gonna go upstairs and watch crappy Voyager and eat cereal.
I don't know. I'm probably going to be the kind of guy you don't want to be around for the next few days.
Oh, Ben, stop.
It's going to put me in a mood. And what's bad though is I'm writing, fit reps for the people who work for me. So it's just like, well, maybe you'd have a higher evaluation if you loved your father more. I've gone by each of your desks. I see no pictures of your fathers. Everyone loses an evaluation point.
How did he know? That band is good. Dennis, what do you say? What do you give the episode?
Oh yeah, it's a 9.
Oh yeah, all right.
If I ever see Tony Todd, I'm gonna slap him and then give him a big hug.
Oh, great.
Again, another light point for me, because a big part of Tony Todd for me recently was when he played Zoom on the third season of was it third season or second season of Flash, or he did the voice, right? He wasn't actually in the suit,
which arguably was the best of that season.
Yeah, but there's the scene after he basically beats Barry Allen's ass, and then breaks his back, and then just catches him by the neck, and then just drags him through the streets as he's running super speed. And he takes him to City Hall, to the main police station, and he basically just dangles Barry, his limp body, and he's like, "Is this your hero?" This is his whole badass speech, and then the cops all shoot at him, and he catches the bullets and shit. And it's like, fuck you. But it's such a badass Tony Todd moment. And then so all through this is like when Cisco dies, I'm just like, is he, once he breaks that bond, is he going to take him back to the promenade, just dangling? It's like, is this your captain, Starfleet? My mind was trying to do anything to distract me from the level of emotion in this.
Yeah, I was on my phone.
Not possible.
I was on my phone a lot.
Yeah.
I was trying hard not to watch, but it's just damn good.
On all of our female listeners, let us know how it affected you.
I'm really curious to get the female perspective on this, or is this a guy thing?
I'm telling you, I mean, it might be. I mean, fathers, but I also think like maybe women are more prepared to deal with their feelings than stupid boys are. I mean
did the Beverly Crusher episode where she fucks grandma's ghost boyfriend?
That's really creepy and kind of weird.
Yeah, but are chicks, because that's that whole romance novel.
No, chicks don't want to get raped by fucking ghosts.
It's not rape if everybody is into it.
You know, like
if you pretend to be a sex ghost when you're really an alien, I think that's rape, man.
Yeah. That also fucked your grandma. Now you and your grandma are Eskimo sisters. No,
I mean, to be fair, it wasn't just her and grandma. It was every woman in that family.
Yeah, that episode was written by a dude, and would be like, it'd be fun to fuck every member of Beverly Crusher's family. I'm gonna write that episode. So
who was the producer who was harassing her? Did he write this episode?
No, he was fired by third season.
Was this a submission, like a spec script from Anonymous?
Oh, yeah.
Stephanie did enjoy watching the episodes and the arcs with Burnham because, like, I guess the vibe that Burnham had, where like it was hard for her to make friends and hard for her to trust people and hard for her to love. So people bring their own shit to their fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
no, I mean, and that's the thing is, I even connected though with the Burnham thing.
Yeah.
Just being that alien, that other. And being socially awkward and not getting all the social cues that humans have because you were raised by a bunch of cold, unemotional Vulcans.
So so everybody brings their shit to fiction. So what we've learned today during this episode of Dork Trek is that we all have like dad and children issues.
Yeah.
We're sensitive to our children and we're sentimental about our fathers. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's okay.
I bet if I could get my sister to watch this episode of DS9, which probably she wouldn't watch because she thinks Star Trek's for fucking nerds, she would probably on some level react to it because it's about dead parents.
Mm-hmm.
I think this would be this is a one-off that you could just watch and not have to know anything about Star Trek. You can still watch it and appreciate it.
Yeah, and it's also too because like when you watch the show, you believe the bond between Jake and Cisco. Like it's plausible. Like you see, like there's a real affection there for the two of they have a real bond, a real affection for each other. And so I think that goes well into the performance.
Yeah. Well, then with him being a single dad, though, I mean, that takes that bond has to even be like double strong because I don't know.
And I thought it was funny how Jake barely fits into the fucking doorways of Defiant. Like he's just so goddamn tall.
Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be kind of like a submarine, modern day stuff.
I know, but it's just funny how gigantic he is, like how he towers over Nog now.
Well, I mean, Tony Todd, when they're making him old and they're trying to make him look old and frail, but the dude's chest is like ripping. It's like, you should have got a bigger sweater. He does not look old and frail.
It was really good, though, man. It was just a great episode.
Yeah.
So... all right. Enough of that.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I did.
Yeah.
And next week we'll have to talk about other stuff. Next week's episode is O'Brien and Brazier. So there you go. We can get back to them having butt.
O'Brien's mother visits and
No, it says Miles O'Brien and Julian Brazier clash when their runabout crashes on a planet.
And they have to teach this primitive culture how to play darts.
It's basically like it's Brokeback Planet.
Bashir.
I remember this episode.
I can't quit you, Brazier. Brokeback Planet. All right. Are we good? Are we okay? Are we all going to be okay?
Yeah.
As bad.
What was after the Van Gogh episode of Doctor Who? They actually played counselors are standing by at this number. Like literally, there was because I used to watch the less than legal versions, and so it was so you get their beginning and end, because they don't do commercials on BBC, but they have announcers at the end of the episode.
Are you sad after watching this episode of Doctor Who? If so, call yourself a counsellor before you're off yourself.
Oh no, and they had a hotline for people for grief counseling.
888-999-1010-1010. Don't be dead.
So I think this episode would have almost done well to have one as well. So. Yeah.
We can't see what Dennis is doing, but I'm pretty sure he's setting up he went to the rope store to quote Norm Macdonald.
Yeah. Just waiting to kick this chair out.
The whole episode, that's where you've just been standing there.
Hey, do yourself a favor and watch the Norm Macdonald special on Netflix if you feel.
I haven't seen it yet. I love Norm Macdonald.
It's really good. I watched it again the other day. Do yourself a favor, watch that. If you're feeling sad, watch.
I won't kill myself tonight.
Yeah, watch Norm Macdonald. It's really great. It's really great. All right, are we good?
Yes.
Good. All right.
Let's hug it out, boys.
All right. Yeah. There's still time to make amends. All right. So, hey, go love your family is what we're telling you.
And the moral of the story is, when you get really old, if you fuck everything up, just kill yourself, and then everything will reset.
And if it doesn't, you're old. Who cares?
I think it's in the Bible.
Yeah.
It's in the back.
It's one of those new translations and toward the back. It's right after the dragon thing.